Hello everyone, my name is Edward Zizeko and I'm the Education Specialist at the Anastasia Mosquito Control District. Today I want to talk to you guys about mosquitoes and mosquito habitats. A lot of people don't really understand that there are a ton of different species of mosquito out there, and in St. Johns County we have about 44 of them. And I'm going to show you the main nuisance mosquitoes that we have and where they would breed, and I'm going to show you the main disease vectors that we also have here. So right now, I am in the middle of one of St. Johns County's salt marshes. A lot of people don't know that salt marshes pose a huge problem when it comes to mosquito populations when they hold water. We have two major nuisance mosquitoes that will hatch off in salt marshes like this, and they're Aedes sollicitans and Aedes taeniorhynchus. They can vector dog heartworm, but they don't vector any diseases to humans. They do hatch off in huge numbers, and they can fly up to 30 miles, which is why it's really important that our technicians come out here and make sure that these areas are not holding water, and if they are, they're checking for larvae, and they're also putting out a pre-treatment if they see that it's holding water. So right now I'm standing in front of a floodwater mosquito habitat. This water was from the rain, and it kind of condenses into these little pockets of pools around the shaded forested area, and that's perfect habitat for things like Aedes atlanticus, Aedes infirmatus, and Sorafera ferox. So these species are nuisance mosquitoes. They don't really vector any major diseases to humans. But so yeah, these mosquitoes right here are very ferocious biters. Right now I'm getting like a lot flying on me trying to get a meal. Very ferocious biters, but mainly nuisance. And it's a problem with residential areas that are around preserves and things that are kind of wet, like the soil's wet and it retains a lot of this water, so it just kind of pools up, and then these mosquitoes will come and lay their eggs. Or if they're floodwater mosquitoes, the eggs will have already been there, and then when the water comes in, it kind of wakes the eggs up and they all hatch off at one time. So that's why they're a nuisance, because they can have a lot of hatch offs, because we don't know how many eggs have been sitting in the soil. So I'm standing here in the middle of a permanent swamp, and this water stays here year-round. It doesn't dry up. And the species you find here are melanura and your Anopheles species like Anopheles quadrimaculatus. They need the water to stay here for their eggs to thrive and their larvae to live in. Melanura are carriers of triple E, but they mainly feed on birds. So what they do is they cycle this virus between the bird species, and they need another mosquito species to bring it to people. Your Anopheles quadrimaculatus historically is the vector of malaria, but we don't have malaria anymore in the United States. So they're mainly a nuisance for people who live around swamps like this. They can come out and feed on people. Now I'm standing next to a freshwater pond, and you can see there are a lot of cattails growing here. And Coquelitia perturbans is a mosquito species that really likes cattails because their larvae will go underwater and pierce the stem of the cattail, and that's how they get their oxygen. They're not like the other mosquito larvae that come up for air. They stay completely down under the water and just take the oxygen directly from the plant. They really prefer cattails, so this would be a big habitat for them right here. Coquelitia perturbans are the bridge vector of triple E to people, so we keep a close eye on them. And if you see lily pads, those are also homes to Mansonia species, who are just a nuisance. So another mosquito habitat that people really don't think about are storm drains, because they can hold all this water. And when the water sits, it gets really dirty, which is what Culex species of mosquito like, which are known vectors of West Nile virus. And in this particular storm drain, I just wanted to show you how much of a problem this can be, because I just picked up some Culex egg rafts floating in this storm drain, so we're going to have to treat this storm drain. But these can be a potential problem in residential areas, which is why we have technicians out checking storm drains every day. So right now I'm next to some farmland, and you can see all the cattle in the back. There's even some birds out here. This grassy land can have depressions, and you can kind of see the depressions. And in these depressions, when it rains, they fill up with water, and then you have Sorafera columbia hatch off from these depressions, and then they go and feed on the cattle, and then they can restart their whole cycle with that blood meal that they get. And Sorafera columbia really like sunny areas. There's not any forested, shady spots around here. So as soon as they hatch off, they're going to go straight for the cattle and feed opportunistically. So now we're going to talk about the last mosquito habitat, and it's containers. Container breeding mosquitoes are potentially the most problematic for homeowners, residents of St. Johns County. It's because these mosquitoes seek out things like toilets or tires or buckets outside of people's yards, and and they lay their eggs in them. That's why they're called container breeding. And they tend to stay around that same area. And species like Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus are major disease vectors. And it makes it even worse that they seek out these areas next to your homes. So as homeowners, we as mosquito control would like to ask you guys to look for these things in your yard if you have a mosquito problem. If you are finding mosquitoes around your home, the very first thing you should do as a homeowner is doing a self-inspection, where you walk around your yard and you look for things like this. If you come closer, you can see that this toilet is just filled with water, and eventually this will be filled with mosquito larvae. Mosquito control, we like to focus on the other areas that I talked about, the natural areas that you as homeowners can't really access yourself. We like to give you this information so you know what to look for in your yard. But like always, if you have a mosquito problem and you really don't know what to do about it, you can give us a call.